Hello. What I'm going to do today is walk you through setting up a group policy object in your Windows domain that will automatically install the Duo Authentication for Windows application on every computer in your domain. It's not terribly complicated. It's not terribly complicated. It provides a great deal of benefit, in my opinion. Securing things for the proper accounts. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get started. Right, so before we start the video, I am presuming that you have already set up a Windows server environment and that you have some sort of Active Directory domain services deployed. Right, so assuming you've done that, let's begin. So the first thing we're going to do is, let me switch my screen here. Okay, the first thing we need to do is come to this website here, duo.com/docs/winlogon-gpu. Okay. This is where we will find everything that we need to do this properly. This is going to give us it's going to give us a couple of things. The first thing we're going to find here is the .admx and the .adml files. These go in your sysvol folder in your domain controller, and they provide the necessary framework for the administrative templates we're going to use to set our API host name, integration key, and other options in the application. And it's also going to provide us the MSI files for download. This only works with the MSI files. You can use group policy to deploy software. It only works if you have if you are using .msi files. So the first thing is to click this Duo Authentication for Windows here. We can open that. It's going to open a new tab, and it's going to ask us to download that. I've actually already downloaded it, so there's no need for me to do that. So when downloading, let me find it real quick. Yes, here it is. Okay. So I created a simple share drive to use. So that's going to download this Duo WinLogon MSI policies and documentation. After you extract that, it will create a folder such as this, and then when you look in this folder, you'll find a number of things. First is a Excel file. We don't need that. You're also going to see your .adml, your .admx, your Duo Windows Logon 32, and Logon 64.msis. If you aren't familiar, the .32 file, the 32.msi file would be for a 32-bit install, and the x64 is for a 64-bit install. Okay. So now, let's get this out of the way, and we will look at our group policy. So the first thing you're going to want to do is create a new group policy. Now, if you have not done so already, I would recommend setting up a test OU. As you can see, I have one here, home test computers, there's a couple things already in here, one of them being the Duo Windows Logon. So it's always a good idea to test new group policies on a test organizational unit rather than domain-wide. So I'm going to create a new GPO in this domain and link it here. We're going to call it test Duo Logon. Okay. All right. So we're going to right-click, edit, and it's going to open up this page. Now, before we can actually do anything here, we have to play with our files that we downloaded earlier. So I need to bring this back over. And you'll recall we had these. You'll recall we had these two files here, the .admx and the .adml. Those are going to go someplace specific. So what we need to do, let's open up, is we need to navigate to one of our domain controllers. The PDC emulator is always a good one. So whichever domain controller holds your PDC emulator role is going to be probably your best bet. It will replicate out to all the others, but might as well go straight to the source. And then in here, you're going to have a number of folders. You want to go to your sysvol folder. And I actually extracted the application originally to the sysvol folder. Not a good idea. So I'll have to delete that. But you'll want to go to your domain, and then you'll want to go to policies, and then, oh, where was I? Yes, it's going to be in policies, and then policy definitions. Yes. And in here, you'll find all of your .admx files. So this is where you will put the .admx file. And then here in this folder, en-us, although this is the language, it'll be different if you're installing in a different language, you will find the .admls. So you can see right here we have my Duo Windows Logon .adml and my Duo Windows Logon .admx, if I can find it. There it is, .admx. So you want both of those files in the proper folder. Let me just go ahead and delete these. I don't need them anymore. Okay, I'll have to worry about that later. You'll also, at this point, it's probably a good idea to create a software deployment share. Label it software deployment share. And in here, you will put all of your MSI files that you plan to install. All right, so let's clear this out and go back to our test group policy. You're going to want to edit, and we're going to go to computer configuration, and it's a policy, not a preference, and it's under administrative templates. Now, we want computer configuration because we are installing an application on a computer, and it's going to be under administrative templates. And as you can see right here, we have a brand new administrative template, Duo Authentication for Windows Logon. Okay, so let's expand that. And let's come in here to client settings. And there is a number of settings here that you might want to play with. For example, auto push. I choose auto push will automatically send a push notification to whatever device you are registered under, if applicable. I choose yes because I find it more convenient than having to tell it to do so. There are various options here. You might want to limit to RDP. So if you're physically at the computer, you don't have to use it. But if you are using remote desktop protocol, you do. Require enrollment. A number of things here. Where the actual business happens is going to be in Duo service settings. Okay. So there are 3 things you absolutely have to have. The first one is Duo API hostname. The second one is Duo integration key. And the third one is Duo secret key. Let me just get logged in. And I will show you how to access those. There we go. Okay. All right. So here we are in our Duo admin panel, and I'm not going to show you my Duo configuration. So we're going to pick a new one, protect an application, and we're going to find Microsoft RDP. It would be this one. Click protect, and there we have it. Okay. Here we have our integration key, our secret key, and our API hostname. So all we're going to do is in our group policy editor, you're going to put your Duo secret key, your Duo integration key, and your Duo API hostname here in the proper location. So you can just double click, enable, and you enter your Duo API hostname there. Pretty simple stuff. So that is the end of your group policy settings configuration that you need to do. So close out of that, and then we need to navigate to that in the actual test Duo logon, and we're going to come to delegation, and we need to add a few things here. First one we need to add is domain computers. We need the domain we want the domain computers to be able to read this, and we want them to have read settings. And then after that, we're going to click on their name, select advanced, and advanced. Okay, so the domain computers, we want them to have read permissions and apply group policy permissions. If I can find it. There we go. Right, there it is. Domain computers, read, apply group policy, apply. Okay. So now we have our domain computers are allowed to view this group policy and apply these settings. So that's all we have to do for group policy. next we're going to set up the MSI file to be automatically deployed. Okay, now what we're going to do is we are going to set up our group policy to automatically install the software. Now, it is generally considered best practice in Windows Systems Administration to make one group policy for each setting. So, it's probably best for you to create a second group policy that installs the application and make that separate from the group policy that sets the settings. This way, you can have different settings for different things. For instance, you might want domain controllers and domain computers to have two separate Duo settings. So, for example, you could have different things in each one of them. Maybe your domain controllers have a different push notification that gets sent out. They have different settings. They're more locked down than a normal computer that doesn't have access to things that are important. So you can set your install at the top domain. That way, every computer in the domain gets it, and then your individual settings only get linked and deployed to the OUs that you want. So as you can see, I have up here, this is my do not use group policy. Basically, this is a group policy I have set, labeled it do not use, and this is for testing purposes only. Okay, so I'm going to edit. And again, this is going to be computer configuration, so we're going to policies, and then we're going to software settings and software installation. So we're going to click new and package. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to tell it what software to install. Now, it is critically important that the software you are telling it to install is available over the network. This is where the software deployment share comes in. So make sure that this software deployment share, I recommend putting it on on a domain controller or some other server. It doesn't have to be a domain controller, but it needs to be some other Windows server or another type of server. It doesn't actually matter where the file share is hosted. Just for ease of use, it's on my domain controller. It needs to be accessible anywhere over the network. I'm going to choose Duo WinLogon 64 because I want the 64-bit version. I'm going to select that one, and we are going to choose a signed. Okay. It's going to take it a second. There we go. As you can see, it's popped in. And now, any computer in this domain should have this application installed. Okay. So I'm going to close out of this, and I'm going to link this down to my home test computers OU. Well, do not use. I'm going to link that to the home test computers OU. Okay. And allow me to delete that link, because we've enabled the link now, but I don't want it messing with my other applications. Okay. And you define here in security filtering who you want to be able to read this group policy and apply it. Keep in mind, authenticated users includes computers. So you actually don't need to do anything else. You can leave it just like it is and it will work fine. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to create a virtual machine to test the group policy on. So allow me to do that off screen here. Okay. So here I have my... So let me explain what I did off camera. I went and I properly configured the administrative template with the API hostname, the secret key, and the integration key. You didn't need to watch me do that. That's self-explanatory enough. I created a virtual machine, which I then joined to the domain and put in the test OU that I created. Allow me to show you. Let's just pull up users and computers. Here we have it in home test computers. And here's this computer, Duo GPO test. And I'm about to start it. Continue. See here. I'm going to go ahead and connect in full screen. Okay. It's going to take us a moment on boot up. So that it's going to pull in the Duo application that we've linked at startup. Okay. Or it should have anyway. So other computer. I'm going to log in with my help desk account. Okay, and boom, there we go. So as we can see, it's automatically sent a push message, and if we look here, it's going to say that I'm logging into Colt's domain. It's going to say, there's the push message, and it says proper host name and everything. Hit approve, and this is actually a setting that you can configure in Duo. If I have offline access disabled, as in fail open mode is disabled. So fail open mode, if your computer is unplugged from the network and can't access the Duo servers, then it doesn't try to go through Duo at all. It just says, yeah, I'm fine, and lets you in. I have that turned off, so it's going to ask me to do this. You can disable this as well. Enroll later. And this is the first time this computer has been joined to the domain, so it's going to take a while to pull it up. We have to redirect the folder and everything. We have to redirect our home directory and all that good stuff. So I was going to... Oh, here we go. Okay, great. We're booted. All right. So let's just pull up with CPL. And there you have it. We have 2 applications installed. Brand new, fresh computer. We have 2 applications, Microsoft Edge and Duo Authentication for Windows x64. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you install Duo for Windows and protect all of the devices in your domain at the same time with a Duo authentication. Okay. Hopefully this has been informative for you. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.